Ball rolling. My name's Carrie, and I'm the Fairfield educator over at Lancaster Fairfield Community Action Recycling Center. And we have Tammy, which is from Coshocton, and then we have Birdie, which is from Licking. Katrina is our other educator within our solid waste district. She's from Perry County, and hopefully she'll be logging on soon. But if not, we should still, if you're from Perry County, I don't know which county you're from, we should be able to still answer your question.
Actually, I am from Perry County,
Are
and
you?
I
Okay.
do have
Well,
some questions.
we should be able to help answer. If not, we can definitely put you in contact with Katrina for your county's recycling programs.
Okay.
Um, we're going to start out with some county updates in Fairfield County. Well, America Recycles Day is November 15th, which is like Christmas to the recycling centers. So we're very excited to celebrate that. We're going to be doing an educational program for kids for educational pickup packets. They can come in on the 12th and 13th. Parents just have to pull into the recycling center. They honk their horns. I'll come out and I'll deliver educational packets. It'll have activities and some goodies about recycling, why it's important, some puzzles and things of that nature. So really fun information. It's kind of like our Earth Day packets that we've done in the past. So we're excited to provide that. We're still collecting bottle caps. We've turned in 111 caps for our Bremen ministry group. So that's very exciting. We still need about 900 more to get that group's goal. And then we have to collect another 2,000 for 2 more groups. So feel free to save your bottle caps in Perry County and bring them over to the recycling center in Fairfield County, because every cap counts in this project. And we're wanting to get roughly 2,000 to 3,000 pounds of caps collected by the end of next year, so we can have all those groups finished. Forest Road School, which is one of the groups that just finished their bottle cap projects, they actually went up to Wadsworth, Ohio to Plastics Are Unique, and they received 10 benches. And we're going to just do at our Earth Day event this coming year. We're going to be doing a big celebration and showing off these benches to the community. So we're really excited about that. We're still opening, as long as we're not going to go red. You can still schedule recycling tours at our facility with me. I'm still going out and doing school presentations. I actually did my first school the other day, and that was nice getting back into the building and talking to the kids and such. That's all what I have for Fairfield County. Tammy, do you want to share?
Sure. As you mentioned, America Recycles Day is November 15th, and we do in Coshocton County what we call America Recycles Radio Contest. We send it out to all the local 6th graders, and they put together about a 25-second ad that they submit to me. Then we choose the 5 best ads, and then they will record those, and those will be played on our local radio station 3 times a day through America Recycles Week, which we'll do the 15th through the 21st. So that's pretty fun. I just got my first submissions this morning, so I'm pretty excited about that. I'm glad the kids are still on board with it, even though I haven't yet been able to get back into the school. I will actually make my first school appearance on the 25th of this month. So I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully we'll continue to get into the schools more and more and more. So that's the big thing. The other thing we started doing, well, we have been collecting cardboard separately for quite some time in Coshocton County, but in September we started marketing that to West Rock over in Columbus, and we've taken just over 16 tons over there. So instead of paying to have that processed through Kimball, we are actually, we're not getting a lot of money. It's not, we're not gonna fund huge programs with it, but it's working. We're actually in the black already. Takes us about $150 a trip. And luckily we're getting per month anywhere from $250 to $300 so far. So we're hoping that catches on. We're trying to promote more cardboard recycling within Coshocton County. And then I'm just currently trying to get on the radio whenever I can to continue to promote our locations and what we accept, and what Kimball Curbside within City of Coshocton accepts versus what we can take. And just, you're always answering those recycling questions. What do I do with this? What do I do with that? So that's pretty much, we're plugging away in Coshocton.
So Jamie,
yeah, go ahead.
do you have businesses participating in your cardboard recycling?
Actually, yes, we do have several businesses that have started dropping off at our locations, which is, it's mutually beneficial. You know, we get the card, they don't have to pay for, you know, a lot of them only have one dumpster, and it takes everything. And so that's been very beneficial. There's probably 3 businesses, and I've talked to 2 more just this week about them dropping their cardboard boxes off. So that's, we've seen an increase. September, we took over about 7 tons of cardboard. October, it went up to 9 tons. So it's lifting. We're collecting more and more. So that's a good thing.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
It's nice to see too that you guys are moving it. There's still a little bit of income coming in. I mean,
Right.
as we all know, it's not, recycling does not bring big bucks into the program. But
we do know, yeah, when we take it to West Rock, we know that that's getting recycled, that's getting made into new cardboard boxes. So, and in this day and age, cardboard is king. Everybody's getting stuff at home, and there's plenty of it. So it's a good resource.
Yeah, and West Rock, they're really good about, I actually did an article about them. They're so sustainable in every process they can do. They try to make sure that it is as sustainable as what they possibly can. And then if something isn't sustainable, they're looking into ways to make that.
Right.
I mean, they're a great company. So
yeah, awesome. And they've been fantastic to work with. So, I mean, in that respect as well, very personable.
That's great. That's great. Verdi, do you want to share your county updates? And hi, Katrina. We're just going around doing updates first, and then we're going to jump into Verdi's presentation.
So our big news as of this week was our billboard contest for America Recycles Day. Last year we had close to 400 entries. Of course, we didn't have the COVID environment to work with. This year was significantly less. I won't tell you what it was because it was down in the disappointing range, but we did have enough to warrant a winner. And so just announced that to her a few days ago. Here's our winning entry. I'll zoom it in, and of course it's reversed, but you can kind of see what it is. This will be made into digital billboards here in Licking County. I think we're going to have about 6 of them from today through the 18th, I believe. So we also had a second and third place winner. Knowing the teachers in some of these schools, I was told the first and second place winners are fantastic kids. So that always feels good. Someone who's a wonderful student and a great person has won. That's our big news as of recently, but we've got a lot of other things going on. We're on the edge of adding a new site, a new collection site, moving one, I believe, got some things like that. School visits are non-existent. The last school visit I did was a couple weeks ago to a special needs school, but it's still out there. I'm still in communication with several teachers. They just can't do anything with it. So I've put together, and I think I ran this past several of you guys, a online order form for teachers to order materials. So that's on the horizon. Going to try to hit them any day, simply because after Thanksgiving, school a lot of times starts to look for things of that nature. So maybe I can get some business there. Let's see what else is going on. Can't think of anything too significant. We had our shredding day about a month ago. Public shredding day had about 260 cars, I think. I forget the weight that was collected, but it was very significant. And of course, the day you have the event, the next day, 3 people call that, hey, I missed it. Can I bring my stuff? And that goes on for weeks afterwards. And you have to tell them, no, we do it once a year, blah, blah, So trying to communicate with teachers on a regular basis. Facebook page is very active, and just trying to stay active in communication. Working with our local senior center, Licking County Aging Program, to do some online instruction and craft kits for upcycling for the holidays. So hate to say it, we're trying our best to get out there, and you guys know it's hard to get out and do anything fun, creative, but we're in constant communication. So I'll leave it at that for the moment.
Well, that's exciting that you're getting a new host site. That's something that we've been trying to like expand in Fairfield County, and getting a host site, it can be challenging. Like there's a lot,
difficult.
There's so many challenges. A lot of people, they just don't want a recycling bin there. So congrats on that. That's awesome. And then your senior citizen program with like the crafts and doing outreach for that, that sounds really cool as well. You have to keep us updated on that, because that's a cool opportunity. That's really, it's a unique opportunity too, to experiment with that crowd and to try to get outreach for that. So let us know how that works, because that sounds awesome. I'd love to.
I've worked with the senior center for several years, and I really promote intergenerational, like, hey, bring your granddaughter, your grandson, whatever. It gets some play. Did some upcycling crafts here at our office, and did have a couple of intergenerational families come, which I like. I like that connection between one generation and the next. But it's hard. It just doesn't happen like you'd hope it would. No matter what you do, it seems like there's always a challenge for one of those generations to connect to the other. But we're going to put together, again, craft kits. The seniors can come here and get them, and then I'll have a Zoom or at least an online video of instruction how to build the whatever. We're looking at several options there. So that'll be kind of neat and kind of fun.
That sounds awesome. Definitely keep us informed with that, and hopefully it turns out pretty well. And then Katrina, would you like to give your county updates?
Sure. I apologize for the last second joining of the meeting. We have been asked to do a lesson this afternoon of all days for the Green Teachers Conference that typically happens and has happened for 3 years down at Baroque State Park at the Lodge. And they've invited me to do lessons in the past. I shared our waste audit, our waste investigation that we do with the middle schools. I've shared different lessons in the past and just it's a really neat opportunity. I appreciate seeing Jenny and Risa. Thanks for joining. And I think Penny was on there. I don't know if she's still on or not, but I saw Penny Cox jump on from our Soil and Water Conservation Office. And I appreciate you guys joining. I don't know if you guys noticed, but last night I shot out about 800 emails again, inviting people to the roundtable. And I don't know if 10 o'clock in the morning is a bad time for a lot of people. I was kind of hoping teachers would join us.
I think they forget.
Well, I had one teacher that I just worked with last week on a Zoom for all of her 7th grade science class. So she wouldn't be able to join. She thought it was going to happen last night at 10 p.m. and had that wrong. But there was a teacher that might have joined us if we'd have done it in the evening, you guys. So I don't know if we need to think of a different time to offer this.
Yeah, that's something we talked about before, just like getting more of a crowd and getting more input. And I think we possibly should experiment with the time just to kind of get more of a crowd, and whether it's time they get off work so they can listen to it in the car, or even an evening presentation. I mean, one great thing, we could be flexible with that, and we can always talk at a later time to kind of figure out what date and then release it through our emails. I think that would be smart.
I agree.
Kind of like how we're going to investigate our Facebook page and try to be more out there for our community. Exactly. So I think
but I'm being pretty informal because Jenny I worked with at the health department, and Risa I met through a program, a pairing network connections that the health department, and Jenny's one of the leads on that, for agencies and residents and community members to join every other month. And Risa, that's how I met her. And of course, Penny Cox is a soil and water educator that we work with all the time. So I apologize for my informalities.
No, like what we were talking about earlier, we're like, it's kind of informal. Everybody can shout it out. We're just having a conversation about environmental.
People are missing out. People are missing out by not joining us right now. This is your chance. You have Gertie, you have Tammy, you have Carrie, and you have me. But the other three, definitely, you have three good people, and then me to fake it till I make it, kind of thing. But anyway, you have four good resource people that could share some insights if you have questions. But just real quick, this Green Teachers Conference, from 2 to 3, Rural Action has coordinated this like they always do. And I was asked to teach, of all things, about something that meets my mission that relates to water resources. So I'm thinking, well, have you asked Penny? Because Penny's the soil and water gal. But I did tell her what I could do. And so I'm going to do a half-hour session on the edible landfill, which is a really fun eat it after you make it understanding of how the landfills really do apply best available technology. So that's one of the lessons I'm going to do. And the second lesson is going to be Fred the Fish. And it's that fun little lesson for, these are, and this is the age group, you guys, pre-K to grade 3. So I'm going to keep it pretty simple. But I've done both those lessons with middle school and high school students as well, and even adults. So anyway, those are the 2 lessons we're going to do. And poor little Fred, you can use a jar or an aquarium or whatever you have available. And he runs into every possible scenario of pollution you can imagine. And we have visuals that go into the water while little Fred's swimming along, going through his adventure down this perennial stream. And by the end, how's Fred? You know, so it's a really visual, interactive kind of thing. So I'm going to share those 2 things today. Please continue to share the message about the oral history project that we've been promoting and recognizing students for 7 years now. In the last 5, we've gone from $500 to $1,500 for first place. And it's not money from our budget. It's coming from community groups that I bug the snot out of that will give us the money. And they most of them have it in their budgets now, which we're very grateful. That, like Verdi said, it's an intergenerational kind of opportunity for a high school level student to seek out an elder and ask them 3 specific questions relating to reuse and comparing how our trash has changed from back when they were kids, back in the 30s, 40s, or 50s to today. And the third question, they have to come up with their own, that's a related question that they come up with that relates to the topic of reuse. And they have to commit what they're going to do to change their behaviors after this experience. So they record a 10-minute or less conversation with that elder. All the lessons, I call them lessons, but all the discussions, conversations are archived with the library in the digital shoebox memories project. So you can go to our district library, or I think any district library in the world that has that memory. It's called the Digital Shoebox Memory Project. And if you type in reuse, you'll start seeing some of our little Perry County students and their grandmas or grandpas or aunts or uncles in those conversations. And it's a historical based kind of project. And of course we focus on reuse because ultimately reuse is where it's at. We all know that, if we can get that message across. I just yesterday had a person, again, an intelligent person that is pretty aware, ask, boy, it'd be nice if we could find markets for all those other plastics out there so you guys could take more plastics. So again, that message of markets and feasibility of these markets and what's going to make sense in the future for the 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s, and 7s is yet to be determined, and I don't know where we're headed. And, you know, do you guys get questions like this? Well, why don't they just make everything? This is one of the questions. Why don't they make all the plastics out of ones and twos? Because those are the two, you know, the bottles and jugs, that's the kind of plastic. Why don't they make everything out of that? And then you go into the conversation about, well, it's a characteristic of that type of plastic and probably the price that it takes to make that package, because all those plastics are called packages. And there you have it. Not everything can go in a number 1 or number 2 plastic realistically. And I want Verdi and Tammy and Carrie to weigh in on that question now or later on. But does anybody have anything they want to add to that particular question? Or is that pretty much in a nutshell what you guys would say?
That's in a nutshell for what I would say. I mean, like you said, everything, whatever, no matter whatever you're packaging, it's determined what kind of plastic it needs to be stored in. I mean, some's food safe, some's not food safe, some's more heat resistant than others, and not everything can be number 1, number 2s. But if you can stay away from 3 through 7s as much as possible, you know, get them in your homes and reuse them. I think that's what you need to do, and try to divert it as much as possible from entering into the landfill. So
In my understanding, 3s and 6s are probably the most harmful because of how they're manufactured. I mean, there's chemicals in the polymer makeup of those materials that's harmful to the workers in the factory, the emissions from the production of those 3s and 6s. So again, the message I try to say is just avoid it and wash your dishes and cups and spoons.
Exactly.
And silverware, like Tammy's message wants to be today. So we're all preaching to the choir with
we are.
And Risa, and I lost Penny. Penny's at home. She texted me this morning, but I think she's working from home today. So who knows what got her off there. But the neatest thing, and I'll stop, is I have a teacher at the at-risk school called Alpha, and he is going to do another Zoom lesson with me on Monday, and it's a follow-up from the Recycle Right Basic presentation that I did about a month ago, and he's going to do the edible landfill with high school students, and they love it. I did it last year, and now he's going to, I mean, with my budget, I can get a few things from the Save-A-Lot grocery store, so I prepared a lot of the materials that go into the edible landfill activity. But he's going to work with the cook at their school to make the pudding. And then we'll do the lessons all day long on Monday via Zoom. It's so nerve-wracking. I can tell you.
But that's exciting, though. You're going back to the basics. And I mean, even no matter how old you are, it's really important to always be reminded of it's simple steps. You can go through the simple steps and go that way. I just got a 10-minute warning from Zoom saying that we only have 10 minutes left. So, and they're not letting me upgrade the meeting for more time. So Verdi, if you want to jump into your presentation, that would be awesome.
Oh my gosh, we are pressed for time, but that's okay.
Oh, you have a question?
Yeah, I do.
Go ahead.
So Buckeye Lake Bike Club is going to be doing a trash pickup on November the 14th, a Saturday. They wondered if anybody had orange or pink bags to make them stand out. And since it touches 3 of the counties that are here, Fairfield, Licking, and Perry, I don't know what they're doing in Fairfield and Licking counties, but they asked me, could we have somebody come by and pick up the trash bags after the pickup? You know what I mean? They're just going to fill them and leave them along the road. They don't have a truck. I don't have a solution for this, and I don't have any orange or pink trash bags. So I didn't know if we separated the trash, you know, trying to keep recyclables in a certain color and then maybe use black for the trash, that might help also. So any input on that, I would appreciate it.
Can I help?
Yeah.
From our office anyway, we do have orange bags that you can have. We have clear recycle bags that
Okay.
you could use for the recyclables if you are going to make that extra step to maybe pull the bottles or the cans anyway, the aluminum cans out safely with gloves and all that. Just be careful, anything weird. We can fix you up with the bags, Jenny, I'm sure. Our director, but he might let Mike go out and pick those up for you. I can ask for you.
Okay, because I was going to ask the health department if you guys can't. Or
Okay.
because it's on county roads.
Okay.
If everybody could put their emails into the chat, that way you would have your emails. We could talk further when we have a little bit more time with you directly about the trash bags and how each of our counties can serve the club to pick up the trash. That would be awesome. I just slapped my email in the chat, and if you have problems, seems like you and Katrina have pretty good contacts. We could always get the email too. So I don't know if you can see that or not, just because time's kind of restricted right now.
Okay.
Bertie, it looks like you have like 5 minutes. I hope
No. Well, it is the Halloween and Thanksgiving season, and everyone has, shouldn't say everyone, but everyone's very familiar with their pumpkins on the porch or turned into a jack-o'-lantern. And the country raises 1.5 billion pounds of these things every year. A lot of them are used for decoration, but about 1 billion pounds goes into the landfills, or at least thrown away every year after they've been turned into a jack-o'-lantern or just decoration on the porch. A lot of people, you see them every year just in the dumpsters out at the road, the toters, whatever it may be. And we don't have to throw these things away. It's one of the icons of our society, and it's just a shame that we can't use them better. One way we can use them, or at least the easiest thing, not the easiest, the thing that jumps out at me is actually eating them. This happens to be a sugar baby, or we raise them at home, but these are perfect pie pumpkin. They're a little bit of a challenge to eat, but it is something we should consider, certainly, instead of just throwing it away. I happen to have a soft spot for pumpkins and winter squash. Sorry, Tammy, but I love the different varieties of squash that are out there. And this is actually technically a squash. It's not. Pumpkin's just a name we use. But we have a lot of these out in society, and it is a shame that we just throw them away and put them into a landfill, because we can eat them. We're not going to eat them. We can feed them to livestock, everything from poultry to pigs to cattle. They are eaten by everything, and they have some qualities that are kind of neat. They help reduce internal parasites for animals, have a lot of fiber, a lot of nutrition in them. If we're not going to do that, we should probably consider donating them to an animal sanctuary. Almost every community has someone who seems to have those unwanted animals that are, again, cows, pigs, chickens, whatever it may be. Zoos collect these because they're an enhancement activity for a lot of the animals. They'll drill holes and put fun stuff inside and stimulate the animals' senses and need for scavenging and foraging and things of that nature. Lastly, we should probably consider composting these things. They're pretty easy to compost because in a certain amount of time, if you leave them outside, they're going to look like this. Isn't that fun? And if you leave them out in freezing weather, they're going to look like this pretty darn quickly. Now, the downside of composting, at least some people consider it a downside, you don't take the seeds out, you will have volunteer pumpkins next spring, which may not be a problem for certain people. It may be a problem for other people. But you can eat the seeds if you want to take them out, roast them. They have a lot of neat anti-inflammatory, characteristics if you've got arthritis, like I'm starting to discover. But they're easy to compost. You don't have to do anything special to them. Have the kids, if you got kids in your family, bust them up in a corner of your yard, and literally in 2 or 3 weeks, they'll be basically gone. And they aren't going to be smelly or that offensive or anything of that nature. The bottom line is we don't want to just toss these things into the landfill, which means put them in our trash. Find another home for these guys instead of just throwing them away. It's really a shame that these are so useful and beneficial, yet we throw away about 1 billion pounds of this 1.5 billion pounds that we raise. And that's just on the edge of criminal. So I'm going to leave it at that since we are reduced for time, but make sure if you're interested, almost all the communities, and this is backwards, but a lot of the communities have composting guides. Contact one of the recycling centers or your soil and water conservation district, and chances are they'll be able to help you out. So go pumpkins, but don't go pumpkins in the trash can. So let's leave it at that and take any questions if anyone has anything.
Anybody have any questions? We have about 1 minute remaining.
1 minute. I timed it well.
I have a question though. Pumpkins are pretty water retentive, like they take a lot.
There's a lot of water in them, yeah.
That's what I was thinking, so.
That's one reason they can decompose so quickly. They've got their built-in water right there. Other things like leaves and grass clippings may not have enough water to decompose. These guys have it built in so they decompose really quickly.
Good tip. Well, if anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out to us on our emails. Our emails are listed below. And thank you guys so much for joining us today. Sorry, we went down right to the wire, but we did it, you guys. Yeah, awesome presentation, Gertie. And thank you all so much for joining us today. We greatly appreciate it.
Take care. Bye now.
Take care, everyone. Stay safe.